What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Ton, and it's time for another Let's Talk. And today, today I want to talk about Cassie and Diddy. Now y'all know if y'all been listening to my videos for a while, I love astrology, and everything. I see things in astrology, right? Because I do believe and know that it has a really impact on our lives, right? And so today is what day three of the actual Cassie and Diddy trial, right? And today they really asked her questions about the dynamics of her and Diddy's relationship, right? I think everybody knows about the fight in the hallway when she was trying to get on the elevator. And if you all have been watching the content creators that have been really breaking it down, you got content creators that are there, boots on the ground. You have what is it, inner city media, I think, uh, that tweets. I don't know how he's tweeting this fast. Every word that is said, just about. And then you have the content creators that go over. There's content creators that have gotten the what do you call it, transcript, that is breaking it down, reading every word. So the information is out there and it's been coming out, right? But today, like I said, they had Cassie on the stand and they were asking her about the dynamics of their relationship. And I think just looking at the video of them fighting in the hallway, well, it really wasn't a fight. It was really him kicking her ass in the hallway. We knew that there was, some violence, right? We could all kind of tell that that wasn't maybe the first time that they had gotten into it, and the fact that he was, because cameras are everywhere. Cameras are everywhere, right? So to be that confident in kicking someone's ass in public, I mean, it still was in. It wasn't in the privacy of the room. It was in public, even though it was in the hallway. Like I said, cameras are everywhere. So the fact that he was that comfortable doing that in public, because anybody could have walked in the hallway, could have got off the elevator, who could have came out their room, indicates that there was not the first time, right? And so she broke down that incident, right? There was we, the public, had just seen little clips of it, but the video itself was uh, about 15 minutes long, and it showed like three different camera views. So there's cameras on every corner, basically, in every hallway. So she broke down that, and then she broke down the freak offs, right? And so up until now, we have kind of just felt that the freak offs were, sex parties. And in theory, there's nothing wrong with sex parties as long as everybody is a willing participant, right? They're not being forced or coerced into doing anything that they don't want to do. And so the questioning just kind of brought up the fact that she said that she told him that she didn't want to do it. And she talked about the number, of sex workers that they contacted and she had come in contact with. She went into how he pretty much directs the sex act with the workers, right? And she talked about, as she's talking, I'm thinking, okay, I know that this girl is sore and wore out. You know what I'm saying? Just wore out, especially after she said that a freak off may last 4 hours. And she talked about how she did use drugs to kind of escape. And I'm listening to all of this. There's much more, right? And I'm listening to all of this, and I'm thinking, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, why would she allow or put herself through that type of fuckery? Now, again, if you are into sex parties, if you're into different types of sexual kinks, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But as she is stating, she didn't want to do it, and that she did it because basically she connected with him on a level, and she wanted to make him happy, right? So of course, my mind goes, I need to look at their charts. I need to see what in the hell is going on because this shit is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, that everything can be found in the birth chart, right? And there's other charts that you look up and analyze, and everything can be found in there, right? It's a matter of it being interpreted a particular way. So I'm not going to do a full reading on them, right? And if you go to Tajay Astrology, my Tajay Astrology page, I haven't done a reading in a while over there. I may get back to those. But if you go out there, I've done a full reading on Diddy. So we already know what his dynamic is. We know his aspects. And that's the reason why I call him one of the most toxic Scorpio males, right? He's not the only one, but he definitely is toxic. And I know it may sound kind of crazy, but he was born toxic. We're not gonna play like he's not based on his birth chart, right? Now, just because you're born toxic, don't mean that you have to stay toxic, right? And probably the money just fueled the fire. But what I really wanted to see, I'm gonna touch a little bit on him, touch a little bit on them. But what I really wanted to see was what was going on in her chart, right? And so I pulled her chart up, and now let me pull up there. Okay, Diddy and Cassie. All right. When I pulled up both of their charts, right? I pulled up hers individual, his individual, and then I looked at it century wide, right? And then I'll kind of write down my own. I'm kind of making my own chart based on their placements. And the first thing that I saw, which is an indicator of why she allowed this bullshit to go on, was that her Venus uh, is in Libra. Now, I know there's a lot of people that have Venus in Libra and that won't stand for this, right? But you have to look at it's the combination of the charts, right? Because guess who else has Venus in Libra? He does. So they both have Venus in Libra. Libra is relationships, and Libra, what they will do, I mean, they're really like partnership is really, 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 really important to them, right? They will sacrifice anything, and there's really not a whole lot that's more important to them than partnership. That's just kind of the makeup of Libra. Now, typically, they are non-confrontational. Uh, they really want to, they really bounce off their partners. They need that partnership to even, be happy and survive. I'm sure you've ran across someone who absolutely positively has to be in a relationship, that they have to be in a relationship, right? And we all know and have known people that will be in a relationship even if it's toxic. So we can't really play like Cassie is the very first one that has done that. We've known people that have gotten their ass beat, and it's a possibility that they may have had a Venus in Libra. Now, Venus represents love, right? Represents money. Now, the difference, because I said that they both have Venus and Libra, the difference is that the aspects. Now, what I found that was interesting is that with both of them have Venus and Libra, both of them have Venus square Mars. And what does that mean? That's in their natal chart and in their synastry chart. And what that means is that that's conflict or potential conflict. All of the interpretations are potentials because we're not determined by our charts. It's an interpretation. We always have the chance and the option and the choice to make a different choice, right? But that um, aspect brings conflict in relationships. Now, when you look at Puffy's chart, right, he has a lot of negative aspects. When I looked at his chart, it doesn't look like he likes women, right? There's a seemingly a hate there by analyzing his charts, right? And so when you have a negative chart, a negative aspected Venus and Libra, and they are in a relationship with a Venus and Libra that doesn't have those negative aspects, there's going to be conflict. Now, because of the type of chart that Puffy has, he's going to dominate over Cassie, right? And one of the other things that I look at when I look at relationship or synastry charts is that her son, her son, she's a Virgo. Okay, so her sun sign is Virgo. His moon sign is Virgo. And so what that indicates is emotional ties, right? Emotional ties. So you have an emotional tie. So basically, he had her heart with their connection. He was able to get her heart, right? And then with him being able to get her heart, she was, you know, in love with him. And so by being in love with him, she allowed way more shit than she probably would someone else who didn't have those aspects. But typically, someone else who didn't have those aspects wouldn't do all the shit that they have experienced as a couple, right? Her Pluto is also in Scorpio, right? Mind you, he is a Scorpio, all right? And so, just like I said, that aspect right there allowed a lot of sexual activities, right? So I really think that initially, I don't believe that she thought it was going to go as far as it did, but I believe that she did what she did as far as the freak offs out of love, out of trying to please him, out of, his Pluto is in Virgo, right? And so he he used his power to control the sexual dynamic, if that makes any sense, right? Now, another thing that I looked at is that they both have Mars in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is the boss, right? The parental. If you know a Capricorn, one, they probably love to work or love money. They typically like to be stable, and they're kind of the parents of the family. It could be a sister, it could be a brother, but they seem to be in an authoritative position, right? With Mars and Capricorn, that's boss energy. That's big boss energy, right? Now, his Capricorn is 29 degrees. That's a very intense degree in Mars, right? And so I think that with this degree, he really was extreme with his authoritarian. Like most Capricorns, they want to make sure they're gonna mama you to death or daddy you to death to make sure they go, dang, you ain't my mama, that kind of thing. But it's interesting because in her testimony, she mentioned that he asked her what did she call her grandfather, and she said like pop pop or something like that, and he required her to call him that. And so, yeah, again, similar aspects, different overall charts, right? So he's using that Mars Capricorn 29 degrees really as just total authoritarian control. I believe that if she had a went on the path that she was going on, she would have really been a boss. She would have made good money. She really would have done that. Now, also Mars is a sex sign. That is the sign for sex, right? And so with that, I do believe that she allowed all of the sexual freak offs and what have you because it was going towards a goal of her becoming the entertainer that she wanted to become. And so that's kind of what I see with that. Let's see here. He has Libra and Uranus, and so that's relationships is unexpected, is weird behavior, unexpected explosions within a relationship. He also has Scorpio, Neptune, Scorpio, and that is sexual delusion. It could be sexual delusion, and I think that we all know that there's a high level of sexual delusion that he participates in. Let's see what else. What else? She also has. She also has the sun square the moon, right? And that when you have the sun square the moon in her natal chart, it's like what you want versus what you need is kind of always in conflict. So I know that at some point, and probably early on, she was like, okay, I need to get away from this shit. You know what I mean? I need to get away from him, but I also want this end result, and I want to be with him. More than likely, she wanted to get back to the good times and was willing to kind of look past the bullshit to get that end result because her moon is in Taurus. And typically Taurus people are very, very loyal, and it takes them a long time to make the necessary moves, especially with the sun square her moon. So um her north node is in Aries, right? And I think that because your nodes, where your nodes are placed, is where you are moving towards and lessons that you need to learn, right? And I think that with her North Node in Aries, I think she needs to not focus on relationships so much and develop a voice for herself. And I think that this may be what is happening now. The fact that she's speaking up. I do believe that she still loves him. Uh, but I believe that she understands that she cannot be with him, that he is just, he doesn't really love anybody. According to his chart, I personally don't believe that he loves anybody, including himself. Just looking at his chart, her South Node, things that she needs to get rid of would be so much focused on relationships. Because I'm not going to say that she shouldn't be in a relationship, but she literally gave her life for relationship. And, you know, under the right circumstances, that may not be a wrong thing, but you don't want to sacrifice everything. You know what I mean? It has to be a balance. And Libra, the Libra energy is about balance, but typically they're not balanced. They're typically unbalanced because they're unable to really make a solid decision because they don't want to hurt anyone. They're not confrontational. His South Node, which is again the nodes are karmic. His South Node is in Virgo, which I found interesting since she's a Virgo. And I think that she is his lesson. All these years that he's been, doing Diddy, it's like all coming all coming out now. And remember I told you I thought it was interesting that this trial began during a full moon in Scorpio, right? And I think that she is his lesson in this life. Because once she did that lawsuit, everything, it's just like the curse, if you would, was broken. And I wonder, because it sounds like there's a lot of heavy drug usage and what have you, what if he even remembers a good portion of what is happening? And now that he's sober, well, I was gonna say now that he's sober, if any humanity is within him. But I think he is who he is. I think he is who he is. But just like I said, I don't want to do a full reading. And so I'm not even. I wrote my notes down. So once I get past my notes, I'm not going to go past that because looking at their charts and stuff like that, you could read a chart, especially dealing with two for hours. And I didn't want to do that. I just kind of wanted to be nosy to find out what why she allowed that. And I knew that it had to be either Libra or Pisces. But I didn't see where she was. If she had strong Pisces placement, Pisces like to put themselves in positions and then kind of play victim. And I'm not really seeing Cassie playing victim. I'm seeing her. Uh, I don't see her playing the victim. I'm seeing, especially with her moon, was moving with like a purpose. I think she really thought, for whatever reason, she was blinded and stubborn and thought that she would be able to, I don't know, heal him or I guess getting like a regular relationship, like a healthy relationship. And I think she felt that if she kind of sacrificed herself, that she would have eventually got the person that he probably portrayed to be in the very, very beginning. So, like I said, everybody who has uh, Venus and Libra wouldn't allow this, but it is definitely an aspect that, based on the other person's dynamic, because mind you, there's soul ties that are being established, right? And mind you, she has soul ties with all of the people that she was um, doing a freak offs with, and I think there were some development of feelings in some regards. Sound like maybe one or two of those, which I hope that she has done soul tie removal ritual to help get that energy off of her. But I really, and in her moon, where's my note? Her moon, no, her sun is a 3 degree. So with the sun being 3 degrees, she's probably naive. Probably, I don't want to say young acting, but young minded, very naive in this. And now that she is, how old is she now? Like, how old is she? She is 38. She's getting her voice, and she's delayed in finding herself because of what she's experienced during the time that she should have been or had growth. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. But I just wanted to be nosy, and I think I can see why she allowed that. So really, at this point, listening to the trial from this point on, I really won't be surprised. Just kind of looking at what I saw, I don't think that she did it to be like. There's a lot of people that saying, "Oh, she was trying to set him up." I don't believe that she set him up, but I believe that once reality hit her that he was using her for his own gain, that she was hurt. You know what I mean? And I think that because he was so much older than her, and the mindset that she has, it wasn't like fair ground. It wasn't a fair playing ground, if you know what I mean. It's like, I mean, I believe, just from looking at the charts and from what we've heard thus far, that he definitely did take advantage of her. And I think that, I mean, that's just my thoughts. I think someone his own age would have put up more of a fight, would have been more of a challenge. Potentially, potentially. But you know, he definitely is one of the most toxic Scorpio men that's out there, and I can't wait to hear the other side. I think the other side is coming at her tomorrow afternoon. I think the the government is still talking to her today or tomorrow. So anyway, I just want to be nosy and drop that alone. I mean, depending on what I hear, I may do a part 2. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. I do know that this is a intense, very intense uh, trial. I said a couple of days ago, I do believe that something very unexpected, even though what she has said, I don't think it was really unexpected. It just, we probably just didn't have it itemized like we had it. like it was given to us. But I think that there's going to be even more unexpected things coming because, and it's just not just with her, but just with the trial overall. All right, you all let me know what you think. Again, we're day 3 into the trial. Cassie's on the stand. I think she's going to be on there for another 2 more days, I think. Thursday and Friday. It's heavy. It really is heavy. It really is heavy. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next video. Salute, salute.